I'm Robert Shelby, Chief of Police for Shelby Township, and welcome to Straight Talk. With me today is Lieutenant Jeff Daniel. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the show.
Sorry.
And another episode of Straight Talk. Jeff is our traffic commander and has been for several years. Now, when I took over back in January of 2015, you were already in charge of our traffic unit. Yeah. But I want to talk to you about something very special. The township is very proud of you and the police department, and I am. You had a governor appointment from Rick Snyder. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, thanks for your support on that. Last year, I was the vice chair for the governor's Traffic Safety Advisory Council for the Distracted Driving Committee. This past year, I was voted in as the chairman, and in fact, yesterday was my very first meeting up in Lansing. My co-chair is Lieutenant Hagel from Michigan State Police, and I'm excited. We've put a lot of effort with your support and everyone else's support and the support from the traffic guys. We put a lot of effort into Operation Ghost Rider. We've put a lot of effort into trying to making our streets safer, not only for our citizens and people that visit Shelby Township, but Macomb Township as a whole. We've tried to take that leadership role that you've embodied with us, with the county, working with the Sheriff's Department and the MSP, Sterling Heights, City of Utica, to try and make Hall Road a much safer place to travel.
Okay. And this is a big deal. Trust me, like I said, I'm very proud of you to give an appointment from Governor Snyder to recognize a member of our staff is a gigantic deal. And just the fact that you were a co-chair to begin with tells me about your talents and tells everybody in the township about your skills and abilities. I just want you to know we couldn't be prouder of you. And I know your big meeting was in Lansing yesterday, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And did you guys make any progress in your... We have a major problem on our roads right now with the distracted driving. I mean, this is an epidemic nationwide. I've seen a couple seminars, and we should all be worried when we're on the roads. How's it going so far?
Correct. Well, unfortunately, Michigan is one of those states where our state statute is very specific in regards to texting and driving. An officer actually has to witness the person actually texting, not necessarily using their phone. And then that officer then will have to ask that question on the traffic stop if you were texting, and may I see your phone? And sometimes that driver says sure, sometimes they say no. Right. So it's very specific where most, well, I shouldn't say most, there's 19 other states where it is a strict hands-free law. You can't use your iPad. You can't use your phone. You can't be adjusting your GPS. So that makes it a little bit easier for the officers to enforce, and it gets people not just focused on texting. We happen to be lucky here in Shelby Township. We enacted a distracted driving ordinance, I believe, if I'm correct, I think it was back in 2002. It's a secondary offense. If we see somebody speeding or not stopping for a stop sign and they have something in their hand, whether it be their phone, whether it be their Big Mac, whether it be a newspaper, which I have seen reading the newspaper. I've seen iPads that are Velcroed to the steering wheel. If we see that, if one of our officers sees that, they can take enforcement action on not only the primary offense, which is why they stop them, but a secondary offense of distracted driving, and it's a 0-point violation that is assessed the fine by the court.
Okay, great. I'm glad to hear we have that in place here in town, and I know you're staying top of everything, so thank you. And like I said, we support and encourage everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about our transportation in the township. Obviously, our big thing is every morning we have a major commute out of the town. We're a bedroom community with 78,000 residents, and then coming back into town, everybody's swarming to get back in. Talk about some of the challenges that you're faced right now on our roads.
Well, some of our challenges is we've had many construction projects. Last year was the Shelby Township had Hall Road, it was under construction. And with 696 under construction, whether that's not in Shelby Township, it changes the traffic flow. So we have much more people using 23 Mile Road trying to get to the west side of the state or trying to get to their jobs over in Oakland County. So it increases all the travel into our secondary roads, which also increases our traffic times and it increases people's frustration level. We end up having more crashes. All throughout the township, all we see is increased levels in not only neighborhood traffic, but side street traffic. All it takes is one person to drive down Van Dyke and remember the days back when I started when there was a horse farm at 25 in Van Dyke, and now there's not. Okay. There's neighborhoods going up everywhere, so therefore all those people have jobs. They all have to go to work in the morning and come home in the afternoon.
Yesterday we had ShelbyTV do a ride-along with Officer Phelps, and what we're getting reported back to us is that the major complaints right now from our residents are speeding in the residential areas, which has been a thorn in our side from day one, and then also school bus, people failing to stop for school buses. What are we doing proactively to help out in these situations?
every morning our traffic team already has the bus stop schedule. They have the bus time schedule from Utica Community Schools. Sergeant Dowdy works with our traffic morning in the morning, having all those officers out at those different areas in the morning. The only time usually they're not at a bus stop in the morning is if we have a crash somewhere that they are policing. Other than that, that's their primary focus in the morning, is to handle the bus stops and to handle the bus stops in the afternoon unless they're busy on a crash, because those are huge complaints. And let's face it, if we can't protect our kids, what good is our traffic enforcement?
Yes. I know Jim Santelli talked to me about, I think it's the 3 or 4 E's, engineering of our roads, education, enforcement, and then after that is EMS. Okay, and I loved hearing that, because it's the truth. Now, I'm going to tell you something that it really upsets me. We publicize almost everything we do. When we're going to do a blitz, we put it up on social media. We have 20,000 followers on our social media page. Then we have 8,000 followers on our Twitter page. Okay, that's a lot of people. Okay, and we get the information out there. We're going to do stuff, and I see these comments come up: money grab, blah, 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 and it incenses me. I want our residents to know we have a $16.25 million budget, okay? We're not hurting for cash. We don't need the revenue from the tickets, okay? It's not needed. It's nothing, okay? We're trying to save lives out here and make our streets safer. You want to discuss this a little bit?
I couldn't agree with you more, Chief. I use our message board trailer every time we're going out to do an enforcement zone to let drivers know, hey, we're going to be doing an enforcement zone out here, and it's going to be zero tolerance. So we would much rather write no tickets. I would much rather be able to go out there and say, hey, everybody's behaving themselves and they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Thank you.
As a member of the traffic unit from '98 and doing many fatal traffic investigations, I would much rather never have to go tell a family member that their child or their loved one has perished in a traffic crash because someone was texting or somebody was speeding, somebody was doing whatever it is that they weren't supposed to be doing.
Well said. Thank you very much. 2 weeks ago, in Novi, the Transportation Improvement Association presented the Shelby Township Police Department with an award for our work on Operation Ghost Rider. And I'm saying our award, but in reality, that was your and your team operation. You want to talk a little bit about that award itself, what it means to you to receive the award, and what we got the award for?
Well, thank you, sir. It means a lot, and it's not. You've congratulated me before in the past as well, and it's not my efforts. I like to say it's my team. I've got a great team. The Traffic Services Bureau has Sergeant Dowdy. We got Officer Fox. We got Officer Phelps. We got Officer Benedettini, Officer Stansberry. They do a phenomenal job. They're out there every single day, doing all the work that helps our patrol guys do their additional job. It makes their job easier for our patrol guys. If our traffic guys are on duty, they're able to actually police those accidents and free up our patrol officers to get in the neighborhoods, to do more of that proactive police work rather than being reactive, which is our goal to begin with. If we can have lower crime numbers and do it through a grin and a wave, to being present in that neighborhood rather than having to take that larceny from an auto or that malicious destruction of property report, we would much rather do that. And our traffic team always ponies up and helps our patrol guys, always goes out there and does everything they can to make Shelby safer.
Now, I know we have some video to show our audience of Operation Ghost Rider, what it entailed, but what did it specifically mean to you when you got the call that we were receiving this award? And when I actually accepted the award, unfortunately you couldn't be there. Right. There was over 300 people in the audience. There were some big hitters up there from Ford and from General Motors. The state police colonel was there. The United States attorney from the Eastern District of Michigan was there. This was a big crowd. The Secretary of State was there. So I was extremely pleased and proud to go up there and accept this award for us. What did it mean to you specifically, knowing that you're the traffic commander and we were acknowledged by this major organization?
Makes me feel very proud. I'm very proud of my guys for their work effort, because we're 32 square miles. We're on quote unquote that small Shelby Township, and we're writing more numbers than Sterling Heights. We're writing more numbers than the state police, except for when the state police brings their whole unit. Let's face it, they have a much bigger unit if they were going to bring the whole Metro Post out to our area. But we put the effort in. Our guys work diligently and work hard on Hall Road, 23 Mile Road. 23 and Shaner used to be one of the highest ranked traffic crash areas in Macomb County. We hit that area hard and those numbers have come down. And we do that periodically throughout even our neighborhood areas. We have certain areas that we've worked throughout the township since I was in traffic back in '98, from Whippy Way to Towering Oaks. You name the subdivision, I'm pretty sure we've probably been in there at one point in time, and you've even received some of those phone calls.
Yes.
And now that we have the email program set up, when someone goes to Shelby Township, our website, they have a link where they can actually get right on there and send an email. That email comes directly to me and the administration office staff. If they send an email and they put their email on there, I will respond back to them directly and let them know what our team is doing.
Let's take a look at the Shelby Township Police Department receiving our award for work on Operation Ghost Rider.
During the latest mobilization earlier this year, 49 officers from state, county, and local agencies stopped 530 vehicles, issued 440 citations, and made 9 arrests in only 6 hours.
And these numbers, shared by Jim Santilli, Chief Executive Officer of the Transportation Improvement Association, is exactly why the Shelby Township Police Department embraced Operation Ghost Rider.
It's where we get out in M59 in plain unmarked vehicles, and we look for distracted drivers. We have a follow vehicle, marked police car, and we'll radio the car and say, look, so-and-so is distracted driving right now, and we'll pull them over and give them a ticket. So we've done this a couple of major operations with other agencies involved up and down the M59 corridor, and obviously that's why we're here being recognized today.
Single male driver, texting. We've had people that have jumped on our Facebook site and have said, oh, it's a money grab, it's this, it's that, and it's really not. You ask anybody from my team, and I've been here for 21 years. I spent 6 years in traffic as a fatal crash investigator, and it is nothing to do with the money. It's not like police officers work on commission. We don't want to police the crashes. We all have loved ones, we all have family that's driving around here just like everybody else does. And when you start policing these fatal crashes, when you see the stupidity on what caused it and the carnage that it causes, not just from the crash, but the family, making death notifications at the house, that's what motivates us from the traffic perspective. It has nothing to do with the money. Depending on the speed that they're going by, you get about 7 to 10 seconds of looking in the vehicle to see what's going on by the time you watch them as they pass by. I think people just are so accustomed to those devices that they think I can do it. But it's the same thought process that people had back in the 80s for drunk driving. They thought, I can just have 3 or 4 beers, I'm fine, I'm not drunk, I'm just buzzed. Well, you're still going out and you're killing people. You say you don't mean to, but you do simply by ingesting all that alcohol. It's the same thing with the cell phone. If you've got your cell phone up and you've got to make that text to somebody, let them know you're running late or for whatever your reason is, and you schmuck one of these workers out here and kill them, well, you intended to get on your phone, so therefore, by proxy, you intended to kill that person because you're being reckless in disregard of somebody else.
The success of this Operation Ghost Rider ultimately resulted in national recognition for how effective the program was.
And because of this significant contribution to transportation safety and work on Operation Ghost Rider, the Shelby Township Police Department were recognized at the TIA's 2018 annual meeting.
For the police department and my traffic team, obviously, they work very hard at all times to keep our streets safe. I'm very happy.
The award is a great source of pride for the Shelby Township Police Department, as they have designated road safety as a top priority.
From day one, when I took over my administration in January of 2015, I identified that traffic was our major problem.
Well, it's very important to have the distracted driving aspect kind of taken out in the awareness to the public.
Our traffic officers really work hard on a daily basis to try and help this, and it's just a constant battle with the amount of the population that we deal with, and we're dedicated to do everything that we can to try and reduce these rates.
Look at that. Can you get that shot? All day. So at one point she had both hands off the steering wheel and was typing, so we'll see what's happening here.
Distracted driving is the leading factor in accidents on our roads, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Driving is clearly a visual task, and non-driving activities that draw a driver's eyes away from the roadway should always be avoided. As of July 1st, 2010, Michigan law prohibits texting while driving, yet it seems the problem has only increased.
When I drive, I look around, and it seems like everybody's doing it. It's scary. And what really scares me is you see people going through intersections with their heads down, looking at their phones.
They're not getting it. They're not getting it, so we're going to have to step up our enforcement.
Sergeant Dowdy, who's in charge of our traffic team on the operations side on the street, told me today that there's no grant money that came in from the state to do any distracted driving details for 2019. So I told him, I said, I don't really care. You want to run distracted driving details? Let's do it. You know, we'll pay for it out of our own budget. So that's how I feel about the commitment to keeping our children and our residents safe on our streets.
The Shelby Township Police Department are tasked with doing the work until people listen and make this message stick.
Our guys are out there on a daily basis. Traffic education, traffic enforcement. We want people to change their behavior.
Congratulations to the Shelby Township Police Department on their recognition by the Transportation Improvement Association for all their hard work and contribution to transportation safety.
I've been the chief for 3 years and 10 months now in Shelby Township, and I have to tell you, this was one of the best days of my career as chief here when I went up on that stage in front of 300 people, law enforcement and private business owners and professionals from around the state to receive our award. So I want to thank Lieutenant Daniel and our staff, our traffic unit, who does a great job on a daily basis, and specifically their work on Operation Ghost Rider. Jeff, Officer Scotty Phelps, talk to me a little bit about him.
As you have coined the phrase, he's one of our superstars.
He is.
Scotty Phelps does a great job for us. He's also one of our car seat inspectors. Him and Officer Benedettini check citizens' car seats to make sure those car seats, those little ones that are so precious to all of us, make sure that they're secured properly and actually look at their cars. They can set up an appointment with him or with Officer Benedettini. But they're great teams, great teammates. Great people to follow. He's one of our field training officers. Ironically, I had him as field training officer in my first phase as well. So it's kind of nice to see that progression of some of those officers when you see them first come in, and he does a phenomenal job for us.
Thank you for mentioning his work with the child safety inspections. The information is on our website, so you can go to our website, Shelby Township Police Department, and you'll say on the side, the tab, Child Safety Seat Inspections. You click on it. There's the information to email Officer Benedettini or Officer Phelps, and they will set up. And what we found out is that 90% of all child car seats are installed improperly. Right. So if you even want us to do a safety check, make an appointment, we'll come up, we'll take a look at it. So thank you for mentioning. Now, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Shelby TV came for a ride-along with Officer Phelps. Got some good footage. Talk to me about what happened on that day.
Well, he is one of our afternoon traffic officers. He's our one officer that comes in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and works till 1 o'clock in the morning. He handles the vast majority of those afternoon complaints of those people in the neighborhoods, those afternoon school bus details there at the end of the day. And vast majority of his time is spent in the afternoon hours in those neighborhoods. Let's face it, once people get home from work, they're in a hurry. They've just spent a long time, sometimes an hour commute to get home, and sometimes they forget that their kids live in that neighborhood too. And they're speeding, and that's his primary focus, and his primary job is to do radar enforcement in those neighborhoods.
I know that they have some really good footage to show, but I just want to add this. Officer Phelps, I'm proud to serve with him. After 32 years of service in law enforcement, he's a guy who's rock solid, and we could toss almost any problem we have at him, and he's going to go out and take care of business in a very professional manner. And I think the number one thing, when I think of Scott Phelps, I think professionalism. And he's on your staff, so kudos to you and your leadership.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So I'm Officer Phelps, work in the Traffic Safety Bureau here in Shelby. Been here about just over 16 years, and the main job is I'm the only afternoon traffic officer, so anytime after 3, I handle all the accidents, whether they're minor in a parking lot or up to fatal crashes, investigating all those, and do a lot of, I guess, problem areas where residents call and complain about, say, speeders or problems that they're having in the neighborhoods or on main roads, pretty much anywhere in the township. A lot of us have kids, so that ride the bus. And just the idea that you got kids coming and going, walking up and down the bus, and people flying by, especially when it's 55 here, it's just obviously super dangerous, because I think a lot of people just don't pay attention. We'll pull them over. It might even happen today where I'll ask them, why didn't you stop for the school bus? And they'll say, what school bus? Because they apparently didn't see a big yellow bus with red flashing lights going. So just dangerous. I mean, it's pretty clear. People have to start slowing down. And let's see, now those are red. And there we go. Went right through, see? Pay attention. Driver pulling the parking lot. So you can see how big of a distance. I mean, he had,
Northbound 53.
I don't know, 5-10 seconds to stop, and he drove right past it.
Adam John William 313, AJW 313.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that with the yellow lights, you have to think of it as a traffic light. If you can start slowing down to stop, you know, you need to, because when that red stop sign comes out and the red lights start flashing, it's too late. You cannot drive by that bus on either direction unless there's a barrier in between, say like Hall Road, where there's a big barrier in between. Then you don't have to stop if you're on the opposite side. Hello? Why didn't you stop for the school bus?
I didn't know you had to stop on the other side of the road.
You just didn't know you had to stop? Yeah, you have to stop on both sides of the road. The only time you don't is if there's a barrier in between, kind of like Hall Road. So you just thought you thought you could keep going? Is that what it was? Okay. Still live in Macomb?
Yeah.
And how's your driving record?
Nothing.
No tickets, no nothing in the last couple years? How long have you been driving? How old are you?
I'm 17.
Okay. So you've been driving about a year? A couple years?
Like 6 months.
6 months? Okay. All right, guys, just stay in the car. I'll be back. So, he didn't think he had to stop. And that's how dangerous it can be. Like, and that girl that got off the bus, she just went to the right. But there's some school bus, and I know they don't try to do it on purpose, as far as the school district does a good job in not having the kids necessarily cross in front of the bus, but that is, part of the law. He thought he could keep coming. So that would have been obviously super dangerous if she had been crossing in front of the bus. So we'll check him out and run his record. He's only been driving for 6 months, so apparently, I don't know if driver's ed doesn't go over that good enough or what, but he's a new driver. Okay, so it's out. We got 1 car, 2 cars. 2 for sure, maybe a 3rd, maybe a 4th. Lots of cars, so that's 4 that just ran it. So I can't pull over everybody, obviously, so we're going to pull over the last 2. Or I'm going to try to get 2 if I want. Oh, don't pull over right here. She's going to pull in the parking lot. So we're going to get her. And then we're going to get the guy right behind her.
Can you hold the numbers for 1090 again?
T86. I'll have 2 stopped at McClanahan's. Get your plates in a minute. All right. Hi. Did you see the school bus?
School bus?
Yeah. The school bus you drove past?
I didn't even pay attention.
You didn't pay attention to it? Okay. Did you have your license, registration, insurance? There was a school bus on the other side. You got to stop for it.
Oh, I'm
okay.
so sorry.
And the guy right behind you, he did the same thing, so that's why he got stopped too. So.
I'm sorry. I didn't even notice because...
Hello. Did you see the school bus?
Yeah, sorry, I just thought, like the lane that's more on this side, you have to stop.
Just stop both ways. You got to, for a school bus, kid's school bus, you have to stop on both sides.
Oh, okay.
So did you have your license, registration, insurance on you?
Yeah, it's my,
It's in your back? Okay. So 4 people ran past the school bus, and if it's close, I don't usually stop them, but if it's, I mean, these were, all 4 of them were blatant, where, I mean, the sign, the red sign was out probably at least, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seconds, so plenty of time to stop. She did not see the bus at all. She said, what bus, for the most part. And the other car said, I didn't think he had to stop. So that's kind of where we're at. That's the typical excuse everybody has. Patterson, near Malonis, between Malonis and Hayes. Another area where people have been calling about speeders, so we're going to hang out here for a little bit. And usually doesn't take long before somebody's doing 10, 15, 20 over, so we'll give it a few minutes, see what happens. 47 miles an hour in a subdivision that's 25. So 47 into 25, what did that take, 10 seconds to get one? T86 with a stop. Hello? 47 miles an hour in a subdivision. That's way too fast. What's the hurry?
No, I had to just get home really fast.
Just in a hurry?
Yeah,
Did
sorry.
you know you were going that fast?
No. Yeah, my mom's been calling me.
What's that?
My mom's calling me, and I wasn't really supposed to be out right
So you're in trouble. You're not supposed to be out of your house?
now. No, I was supposed to watch my little sisters. We went to go grab pizza for him.
All right. You got registration insurance for the car? So one kid left his house, and apparently his mom doesn't know he's gone. And they picked up Little Caesars, so they're trying to get home. Oh, people amaze me. T86, what's up? 42. Patterson near Hayes. Hello? You just passed the police car.
Was I going too fast?
Yeah, you were going 42 and a 25.
Oh, it's 25. I've never been to, I take a shortcut. I've never been to this.
But look around, it's a subdivision. It's 25 into subdivision. Did you see the police car you passed? The other police car? The like fully marked? No? You drove right by him.
I don't know what they look like here.
All right. You got your license, registration here? But you can understand that's way too fast, right?
Yes.
42 and a 25.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
I agree.
Did you see her pass you? She passed you. And then we had the radar going because I was going to swing back around, and she passes you, and then she accelerates immediately up to 42.
Oh, wow.
Like, she didn't even see you. I go, the fully marked police car? No.
That's okay. I didn't see her either.
But I was like, oh my gosh. Oh well.
Why do you think this area gets so many speeders?
I think it's because it's a wide road. I think that has a lot to do with it. So.
I think it goes all the way from Hayes to Shane.
And it's
a lot of roads don't cut all the way through.
Right, they're cut through. So I think a lot of people are just using it as a cut through. It's 5 o'clock. People are ready to go home from work. I think they just, I don't know if they're not paying attention or what, but she said she didn't know the speed limit, but she lives in this subdivision. So, and anytime it's obviously a residential area, it's 25, so A lot of the excuses kind of don't hold water. So you can tell we've been here, what? We've been here 15 minutes. Somebody doing 47, somebody doing 42. So people, and well, we talked about earlier, nobody pays, they're just not paying attention. They don't know they're going that fast. I don't think anybody intends to, drive that fast necessarily, but just you got to pay attention. Because you can see the kids. What do we pass? 2 kids running down the sidewalk. I mean, it's 5 o'clock after school. It's a nice day. It's 57 degrees and sunny. There's a lot of kids out. Just can't be going that fast, especially in a subdivision. So that's my spiel for speeding.
As you can see, we're out working hard in our community to keep us all safe. We know about the speeding in residential areas. We know about the school bus, people blowing through the stop signs. I want you to know, as residents in our community, our police department and our officers care about your safety, and we're out here every single day trying to keep you and your family safe. Jeff, the evolution of our traffic unit. I mentioned at the top of the show, you've been a traffic commander for a long time. Walk us through back in the day. Actually, we want to start back when you were riding a motorcycle and what the department looked like then, traffic unit, and then segue into when I took over as chief in January 2015, what we looked like, what we were doing, and where we're at today.
Sure. I'm fortunate enough, and I'm very proud to say when you promoted me to lieutenant, you put me in charge of traffic. It's always been my kind of niche that I really enjoyed in law enforcement. I became a motor carrier officer here in the township back in '98 after I got hired in '96. And I spent 6 years in the Bureau. I was one of the original motorcycle officers when we started our motorcycle unit, myself and Officer Osterlin, which we turned into a training program, and we spent most of our time in the neighborhoods, doing the grin and wave, writing those citations, doing Play It Safe Academy, working with Parks and Rec, teaching these little kids how to ride their big wheels and ride their bikes and crossing the street safely. And it's progressed to more of a motor carrier aspect for a while, for quite a few years, and then we hit the recession. We needed more officers on the road. We didn't want to lay off a lot of officers. In the administration at the time, we downgraded that traffic unit. We went from having 1 officer on each shift to only having 1 motor carrier officer and a sergeant at one point in time. One of your primary focuses has been traffic. You realize coming in here that we had a major issue because they were flooding your office with phone calls. We were having issues. So we started gradually building up this unit that we have right now that is running really, really well. Looking to the future, we see the big Amazon going in on 23 Mile Road. We see a lot of the neighborhoods that are popping up that are going to be increasing some of our requests for service. And we have been expanding. We have now an afternoon traffic officer, that's Officer Phelps. We have Officer Derek Stansberry, who's been our motor carrier officer now for the last 6 years. We've expanded our program for doing our fatal traffic investigations. We're using the latest technology with the Faro system that's on par with what the Sheriff's Department started last year. We're looking at possibly working with them to try and help with some of those issues with exploring those fatal accidents. It's going to decrease our time immensely from closing down a road when we have to do one of those unfortunate investigations by half at worst case scenario. We did 1 scan recently on M53 that could have lasted probably a good chunk of the day on the 4th of July, and we were able to do those scans in no time and get M53 back open up. Those little progressions with technology, working with the addition of our more officers in the township, in addition with our more officers in the traffic unit, is going to help immensely to making our roads safer.
Okay, you talked earlier about 23 and Shaner. I think it was like around 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. I'm reading an article one day, and it shows that the 23 and Shaner intersection was the most dangerous intersection in Macomb County. Mm-hmm. I took that as a personal affront on my leadership, okay? I'm a brand new chief. I was very sensitive, and interestingly, I identified this myself, not one of the board members, and it would have been different if a board member came to me almost like I would not have blamed them if they were questioning what I was doing, how I was running the department. Mm-hmm. Well, I had no idea. I never worked the streets here. I didn't know a lot of the internal challenges. Bottom line is I tasked you with cleaning that intersection up. You took very proactive measures. We could put a couple major blitzes in place. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is when I look for the intersection now on these different lists that come out, I can't find it anymore. It's gone. Now, I know, don't get me wrong, we have thousands and thousands, probably 40, 50,000 cars a day that traverse the area. So I know we have our accidents up there, but as far as being dangerous, I would say you guys done a great job in cleaning the location up. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, thank you, sir. And what has really helped with that as well, too, it wasn't just us going out there. We went out there, we contacted Jim Santilli from TIA. He analyzed it, trying to help us get down our hours down when the most serious crashes were happening. I also went to the court. Brought over Magistrate O'Sare. We took him out to the area, showed him what our issues were. So once we got to the court, if we end up getting to court, he had a better understanding of what those issues were as well. So it was a complete team effort to get those numbers down.
Okay. It's funny. I get a lot of credit for what we're doing at the police department right now. I think we're really humming along, doing a lot of great things. And the credit, I get to be honest with you, it's you, okay? You and the rest of our staff, our leadership. We have a major problem, and I don't have the time in the day to sit and work the problem out, but I give it to you, and you take care of it. Probably do a 10 times better job than I could have done it myself, and eradicated that issue. So my hat's off to you for your work at 23 and Shaner.
Thank you, sir.
What are our big challenges now in the rest of the township as far as our transportation, moving people around? I've talked a little bit about the residential areas. I've talked about the school bus safety. Are we inundated with traffic complaints? Every time I take a peek, it seems like we're getting hit from every angle, and we only have so many officers to go around. What are your thoughts on this right now? Like, what are our biggest challenges? What do we need to focus on moving into the future?
Traffic flow is definitely an issue. Every single day I'm receiving not only email complaints, but as the shift commander for my day shift unit, I'm receiving them on the phone as well. I know Sergeant Dowdy, every single morning when he comes in, he's spending that first hour on the phone answering those voicemail complaints that also come in through the traffic unit. You look at the 23 and M53 corridor right there, and you look at Shelby Parkway and all those tool and die shops and all those new businesses that have come in there, which is great news for us. However, the traffic flow is an issue. You have many more tractors coming in, many more semis, which not only will hold up the intersection, it will block the intersection at times when they're coming off of M53 going on to Shelby Parkway. It is going to be, people are going to basically have to pack their patience once Amazon opens, which is going to be a great asset for us. But the state, with M53 with some of their funding, the way I understand it, does not grant a lot of their funding till those big major establishments are there. They got burned quite a lot back in the recession time when they were supposed to expand roadways, and then development did not come. So they're waiting for the development to come, and it's my understanding that MDOT is eventually going to be expanding 23 Mile Road. I'm hopeful that it'll end up also including that bridge work across M53, which will help our main artery throughout the township.
I hope this segment has been informative for our residents. We've given you a lot of information about how we do things at the police department, the leadership of our traffic unit. If you need to contact us, you can go to our website. There's a tab on the left-hand side that says Traffic Safety Bureau, and you can click on it, and you could fill out information, and it will go right to our traffic commander, whether it be a complaint on speeding in your area or speeding in the main roads, whatever it may be. You can either call us or send us an email. Thank you for watching Straight Talk. Until next time, I'm Robert Schlide.